Hey, it's Mark with a message for subscribers to my newsletter. Crypto is easy. If you are not subscribed, click the link in the description below. Head on over, and if you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel. I don't post very often, but when I do, you'll be the first to get the video. The question comes up now, what do you do if you run out of money? The plan says to buy. My plan for Bitcoin's bull market says to buy. This is the opportunity to buy. And if you've run out of money, obviously you can't buy more crypto. And that's okay. You did it. You got in when the getting's good, and now we're just going to have to wait for the market to really turn around. We see some positive and optimistic shifts in trends and patterns, meaningful shifts in trends and patterns. But, I hate to be a broken record, but it's like when you go up that high, that fast, 6 months straight up, damn near 7 months straight up, it's going to take a little while to recover. And we've seen that before in the past, time and time again. And it doesn't even mean that you go into this massive bear market. It takes a while, and that can be very stressful. I wouldn't worry about a thing. If you don't have money to put into crypto, or even if your priorities change, it's fine. You have your money in now. The market will recover, and you're going to be okay over time. If you can put more money in now, do it. One of the things that you may want to consider if you're exposed to U.S. stocks, if you have a lot of equities, U.S. equities, that market's been going. That market is at a point where it can, of course, it can still go up, but there's some long-term bearish things going on. And if we do end up in an inflationary environment, when you look in the past, in history, stocks don't do very well in inflationary environments when you adjust for the rate of inflation. And especially with dividends being the lowest ever in life, ever in recorded history. We have never seen dividends so low. As you know, dividends make up a lot of that guaranteed 7% return each year because it assumes you're reinvesting the dividends. Well, those dividends are half, no joke, they are half as much as they were just a few years ago on average, on your average stock, half as much. So 7%, I don't think you're going to get 7% year over year on average until that situation changes because those dividends are cut in half. So I don't know if that means you drop down to 5% or 4% or whatever. I don't know. But between seeing long-term bearish signals, just a market that in general, it's gone straight up for a year. So you would expect there's some sort of regression to the mean. And on top of that, if we enter an inflationary environment, which we haven't seen, but we know is a very serious risk. We know that if things continue the way they're going, we will see an inflationary environment. And you already see it in the CPI going up, which is not necessarily inflation, but if it's going up now, you think it's not going to go up more once we really see the velocity of money pick up, once more and more of the economy starts opening, once wages continue going up? You really think we're not going to see inflation? So when you add all that, if you're exposed to U.S. stocks, now might be a good time to just peel a little out, take some profits, move some money out of the stock market, put it into crypto. And that way you're buying crypto when it's low, when it's getting beat up. You're selling stocks when they are relatively high. And there are some real headwinds that are going to, that if things play out the way they probably should, stocks aren't going to underperform relative to other assets. Crypto being one of those assets. Just an idea. You're probably not in that position. And if you're not in that position, maybe $5, $10 every week, every 2 weeks, as your cash flow allows, as your life allows. It's not the worst thing. But as always, look, you shouldn't stress about crypto. I know that may not make you feel better, and maybe it's not something that you can take with you and really feel like that changes your life or your outlook or your perspective. But at least you know how I feel and where I'm coming from. Even for myself, I always average in, a little bit in one and a little bit today. 3 weeks later, put a little more in. 3 weeks later, put a little more in. 2 weeks later, a month later, whatever it is. You can space this stuff out. And if the price starts to move up and it moves out of my buying zone, then you stop. You put that money into something else. Or you put that money into a crypto savings vehicle of some kind, whether that's a DeFi, whether that's one of these savings platforms or whatever it is. That's what I did from October to April because there was no opportunity to buy. So I just kept acquiring money, putting it into those savings platforms so that I can now use it to average back into the market. And that includes altcoins too, just to average in. Because these things, everything has a lot. If the market knows what's good for itself, Bitcoin, altcoins, everything, if they know what's good for themselves, they're going to take a little while to settle and then recover. That would be ideal. I think that's a reasonable expectation. And because that's my expectation, that's my frame of reference on the market based on history, I don't personally feel like there's this massive urgency. You got to get in, got to get in. But you need to act, and you want to take advantage of this opportunity. You can't let this opportunity pass you by. We go below, we go down, we keep going down. It's still, the opportunity doesn't change. The expectations may change. The opportunity doesn't change. So I would strongly encourage you, if you can, don't stress, but yeah, continue to just try to find some money somewhere, even if it's $5 or $10. Even if it's just $5 or $10. But don't stress. Never stress about this thing. We're on the right side of history. Bitcoin, we know, a year or two, you're kicking yourself that you ever worried about a $30,000 Bitcoin. As far as the altcoin goes, some will never go back to their all-time high. Some will far surpass their all-time high. They'll go to prices you can't even imagine. Unfathomable today. Unfathomable at the peak of alt season. That in the future, they will be worth even more than they were at the top of alt season. And you can't worry about it. Don't stress. Relax and enjoy the ride.